permanent tissue के बारे में. The permanent tissue that we have also studied, that the permanent tissue is that tissue that stop dividing and start performing as simple functions, specific functions. Now there are two types of permanent tissue. One is the one tissue is that which is going to have the same kind of cells, and another type of tissue is that which is going to have different types of cells. Okay, so if the same type के cells होते हैं इसको हम लोग बोलते हैं simple permanent tissue, and if we have the different types of cells combining together and forming a specific function, सब एक ही काम कर रहे हैं different तरह के cells मिलकर के भी, so that we called it the complex tissue. And we have studied this one about the functions of, okay, cork and phylums. Okay, now that's okay, so we have this one. So the simple permanent tissues are the protective. This we have studied, that is the epidermis, that form the topmost layer, जिसका function हम लोगों ने बता दिया था आपको क्या क्या function होते हैं, that ये सारे functions लिखे हुए हैं epidermal cells के. Means now we are studying the simple tissue. Okay, simple permanent tissue. Let me show you the chart here. Okay, so that you can understood here that what we are studying here is that right now. So we have studied that the tissues are of, we have studied this meristematic tissue, and meristematic tissues are of two types, primary and secondary. The primary meristematic tissue is called apical meristematic tissue, intercalary and lateral. Okay, and lateral meristematic tissues are also called secondary meristem भी बोलते हैं उसको. Okay, and they have another one is the secondary meristem. Okay, now we have the another type of tissue, that is the permanent tissue. And permanent tissue में हम लोगों ने okay, so now what we have studied here is that in the simple permanent tissue, we are studying the there are two types. One is the parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Okay, now the simple permanent tissue is further divided, means they are the epidermal cells होते हैं उसके अंदर cork होते हैं, उसमें तुम्हारा अलग अलग तरह के tissues होते हैं. And then after we will going to study the complex permanent tissue. Complex is going to have the xylem and phloem. So now we are going to study the parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Okay, and the simple permanent tissue, let me explain you here one more time. This is a simple permanent tissue. It includes of two types. One is the protective tissue, that is the epidermal tissue, and another one is the cork and or phylum. Okay, cork and phylum. That is the older part of the, we can say that this is the older roots and stem tissue, जो कि periphery, मतलब जो main से wooden part बनाते हैं, that we call them, हम उसको बोलते हैं कि जो wooden part बनाते हैं, that is making the wooden part, that is called the phylum or cork. Okay, cork is made up of dead cells, you know very well, that is made up of dead cells से बनी होती है, और उसके अंदर जो है the cell wall is in the cork deposit the waxy substance called suberin. Means there is a special type of means the cells are connected together with a special type of cement like structure called suberin. Okay, so they are attracted to it, and this is the waxy like substances, so we called it suberin. Okay, so suberin is actually a waxy substance that that is means the cell wall of the cells are deposited with or fixed with, and this is impermeable to water, means there is no water transportation taking place, and gas due to the deposition of suberin, means they are impermeable, means there is no water content or water, they are not permeable to water and gases because there is no spaces present between them because of the waxy substances. Okay, so let's move further. Moving further, and these cork cells are without any protoplasm, means they are also, means अगर मैं बोलूँ तो ये पूरे के पूरे एक तरह से इनके अंदर सेल वॉल ही होती है पूरी, इसके अंदर कोई प्रोटोप्लाज्म मतलब अंदर कुछ नहीं होता. They are without protoplasm, means they don't have the cytoplasm, they don't have the nucleus, means the whole cell has been converted into the cell wall. पूरा का पूरा सेल ही जो है वो सेल वॉल होता है. Okay, and they are the dead cells, and they first of all the characteristics of cork and or phylum is they form the woody part of the plant. Okay, and they are the dead cells. Their cells are fixed together with a special cement like structure called suberin. We call it suberin, and because of that suberin, they are impermeable to water or the gases. And moreover, the cork cells are without protoplasm, means they don't have the protoplasm, but filled with resins and tannins, means they are filled with, instead of protoplasm, they are filled with resins. Resins means gum like structures or tannins. So usse ye bhare hote hain. Okay, moving here further, that we find here is the function of cork. What's the function of cork? Cork is the cork is a protective in functions, and means cork cells prevents desiccations, infections, and mechanical injuries. Means they are hard, so they prevent the mechanical injuries. Impermeable होते हैं, मतलब कोई चीज आने जाने नहीं देते हैं. Light होते हैं, हल्के होते हैं. Toughness and compressibility. Yeah, simply we can say that these cells provide the rigidity to the plants actually में, और मीन सपोर्ट करते हैं, और दे द मेन फंक्शन ऑफ दैट दे बिलोंग्स टू द बॉडी पार्ट ऑफ द प्लांट्स, एंड वो वुड से हम लोग अपने फर्नीचर वगैरह बहुत सारी चीजें, बेड्स, फर्नीचर्स आर मेड बाय दिस पार्ट. सो एक्चुअली we have the two types of tissue. The one is the, अगर फिर से एक बार बताता हूँ आप लोग को, one is the simple permanent tissue. Simple permanent tissue has, we have divided into two parts. One is the simple permanent tissue. We have divided into two parts. One is the that is forming the layer, means that is forming the layer, or we can say that they are the जो एक layer यानी outer layer की formation करते हैं. Okay, they are forming the outer layer. That one is the epidermis. इसमें हमारे पास epidermis आ जाएगी. Epidermis. Next one is epidermal cells are the topmost cells, but these are the living cells. And here we have the another one is the cork or phloem, that is going to have the dead cells. These are the supportive tissue. Sorry, these tissues form the topmost layer. This of the plant mainly they form the topmost layer. So so they come under the category of these come under the category of epidermis. And next one is actually is a supporting tissue. And this is very important that we need to study. Is another type of simple tissue, and there we have different types of supporting tissues. So these are the supporting tissue and functions, and are of three types. They are of three types. कितने तरह के होते हैं? They are of three types. So let's talk about this one by one. कि supportive tissue जो होते हैं उनका क्या function होता है? Okay. So let's study this one. So we have mainly three types of we have the different types of parenchyma. We have the parenchyma, हमारे पास एक tissue होता है. We have the collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Also parenchyma भी हमारे पास अलग-अलग तरह के होते हैं. Okay. So we will going to study this one. Okay. So let's give you a review that support means these are all supportive simple. These are all supportive tissue. ये सब के सब supportive tissue हैं. Supportive tissue, and moreover they are the simple permanent tissue. They are the simple permanent tissue. Okay, these are the simple permanent tissue. So let's talk about this one. The permanent tissue means parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. So let's talk about this one. Okay, so what is parenchyma? So parenchyma is means the main function of parenchyma tissue is just to store food and provide support. These are the living tissue. Okay, so let's talk about this one. So it is the fundamental tissue. The tissue first time evolved in the bryophytes. This was first evolved in the bryophytes. There are the different types of plants. अलग-अलग तरह के plants होते हैं हमारे पास. छोटे plants bryophytes हमारे पास होते हैं. Okay, bryophytes. और ये उन ब्रायोफाइट्स के अंदर सबसे पहले पाए जाते हैं, मतलब उसके बाद तो सारे हायर प्लांट में पाए जाते हैं. सो द थिन वॉल्ड सेल, छोटे मतलब दे हैव द थिन वॉल्ड सेल, और वी कैन से दैट दे हैव द थिन वॉल्ड सेल्स होते हैं, ओवल और स्फेरिकल स्ट्रक्चर होता है. सेल्स आर मेनली कंपोज्ड ऑफ सेलुलोज एंड पैक्टिन्स. सेलुलोज की इनकी सेल वॉल होती है और पैक्टिन की बनी हुई. ठीक है. And we can say that they are large vacuoles are present for storage. Means the main function of this tissue is just to store food and water. So they have the large central vacuoles. इनके अंदर बड़े-बड़े central vacuoles होते हैं क्योंकि इनका main काम storage ही होता है, food का storage ही होता है. तो they are supporting, and moreover they are just we can simply say that they are just providing the support to the plants and also storing the food. So अगर मैं बोलूँ एक quick review आपको देता हूँ, तो हम लोग यहाँ पर अगर if I'm going to explain you here is that okay. So if I'm going to explain you here in detail, so let me explain you. Okay, so if I'm saying here, okay, so if I'm saying that we have the simple permanent tissue, simple permanent tissue. So these simple permanent tissue, okay, has been divided into two parts. One is the epidermis, that is forming the top layer, and another one is the actually supportive tissue. Supportive tissue. And this epidermis is actually what is epidermis? So we can simply say that epidermal tissues are the tissues, or we can simply say that is forming the layer. So okay, so that's we have the two types. One is the epidermal cells, like we have the stomata, like we have the topmost layer of the plant. These are the living tissue generally, and they plays very important role. Like a stomata plays a very important role in the transportations. Okay, sorry, in the respiration or transpirations. And like we have this one. So wait a minute, our water tank is full. So let me switch off this one. Okay. So let's do this. So next one is the cork or phellum, cork and phellum or phellum. So cork, we can simply say that cork, this is the woody part of the plant that also forms the surface of the plant, and these are also the similar kind of tissue, but these are the dead tissue, and they form the woody part of the plant, woody part. They form these are the dead tissue and form the woody part. And these are the epidermal cells that mainly are the living tissue, and they provide actually they play a very important role in transpirations, means removal of exchange of gases, and they also plays a very important role in we can say simply that because stomata also have the chloroplast, so they have in the photosynthesis, they plays important role in the photosynthesis also. So there are different types of cells in the epidermal tissue, so that perform different types of functions, and that we have discussed in the notes also. Now we have this one is the supportive tissue. Supportive tissue, if I'm talking about the supportive tissue, so supportive tissue is of three types, simple permanent tissue of three types that plays a very important role in the support. The one is the parenchyma, parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Okay, so let's talk about this one. Okay, so let's talk about this one by one. Okay, so here we are talking about is the parenchyma tissue. So parenchyma tissues plays a very important role in actually what they plays a very important role in in the storage of food. So they have they are the living cells. All parenchyma are the living cells. Okay, they generally don't have the space. They are very means they don't have the space between them. Generally, they are fixed and they are in different type of shapes. Like we have the oval shape, spherical shapes, and their cell wall is made up of pectin and cellulose. That generally the plant's cell wall is made up of cellulose and pectin से बनी होती है सारे plant की cell wall. So इसकी भी ऐसे ही होती है. Okay, so moving further, uh, let's have this some parenchyma involved in the excretory substances storage, means they are just responsible for the excretions or removal of waste products. So some parenchyma involved in the excretory substances storage means and are also called idioblast or such storing resins and tannins are called and oils. Means mainly जो सबसे ज़्यादा important part है parenchyma. Whenever we are having the parenchyma, the one is means it provides the support because it is a supportive tissue, and moreover these are the living cells, and we can simply say that this parenchyma plays a very important role in the storage because they have the large central vacuoles. Okay, so these are the typical parenchyma, and the chlorophyll is actually absent. And there is we can say that in typical parenchyma the chlorophyll is absent, and so the chloroplast containing parenchyma is called chlorenchyma. Okay, so chlorenchyma means in a normal parenchyma there is no chloroplast is present. So if the chloroplast is present, chloroplast is what? This is a type of cell organelle that is present in the plants that is responsible for the photosynthesis. So if this cell organelle is present in a type of parenchyma, that this type of parenchyma will be considered as chlorenchyma. Chlorenchyma means containing, means that parenchyma tissue or cell that is going to have the chloroplast. In normal typical parenchyma, we don't have the chloroplast. So chloroplast containing parenchyma tissue are called the chlorenchyma, which perform photosynthesis, and example mesophyll tissue of leaves. So that's we're going to study what is the mesophyll tissue of leaves. Now next one is the hydrolytic plants. Like we have the hydrolytic plants, means there are some type of specialized parenchyma that is present in the hydrolytic, means those plants that lives in the water or that usually grows in the water. So to provide the buoyancy support, they're the specialized parenchyma tissue that is going to have the large space, air is filled with in this parenchyma tissue, and because of that provide the buoyancy, means floating करने में help करता है. So that's type of parenchyma because they are having the air inside them. Okay, these tissues beyond between them, so they will be considered as that will be considered as parenchyma. So that are called the parenchyma tissue. So parenchyma means air. You can simply say that these are generally present in the hydrolytic plants that generally has, or we can say that generally need the buoyancy, or means a floating support. So to provide that buoyancy force, or we can say provide the buoyancy, the air is filled between the parenchyma tissue, and this type of parenchyma tissue is called the parenchyma. And now we have the chlorenchyma tissue, and the chlorenchyma, these are actually the type of ये क्या है सब? ये सब parenchyma tissue के types हैं. Parenchyma, तो we have the parenchyma, chlorenchyma and parenchyma. Okay, so हमारे पास अलग अलग तरह से parenchyma tissue होते हैं, or we can simply say that the parenchyma tissue that is going to have the chlorophyll, so we named that parenchyma tissue as the chlorenchyma. The parenchyma tissue that is going to have air space between them, so air filled with them, so they are called the parenchyma. So they are actually chlorenchyma is also a parenchyma, and parenchyma is also a parenchyma, but they have the what they have the means normal parenchyma, the parenchyma with chlorophyll, and the parenchyma with air. Okay, so let's move further. Moving further, we can understand this one. Okay, so let's move further. Then we will going to watch the video regarding to these tissues also, so don't worry about it. Okay, so here we have this one. Now moving further, that is the chlorenchyma. Chlorenchyma tissues are those tissues that provide support, or we can say the flexibility, or mechanical tissue. It is a living mechanical tissue. We can say that these are the living mechanical tissue, and these tissue provide support. Means हमारी जो twig टहनी होती है उसको हम लोग bend कर देते हैं, and again it comes to its original shape. So why this come in original shape? Because of the presence of chlorenchyma tissue. So chlorenchyma tissue is actually a supporting tissue that provides support or strength to the tissue. Okay, so we can say that elongated cells with thick corners, they have the thick corners, localized cellulose or pacting thickening. We can say provide flexibility. The main function is that they provide flexibility to the plants for easy bending of to the various part of the plant. Means simply we can say that these are providing the support or support to the plants. All parenchyma tissue provide the support and storage of food. And but here we have this specialized one is that this type of tissue, means this type of parenchyma tissue is actually providing the flexibility to the plant. Flexibility means thoda flexibility provide karta hai, and present on the habicus or dicot stem. Means generally they are present on the habicus or dicot stem. Dicots, there are two types of plant we generally have. The one is monocot and another one is dicot. So dicot plants जिसमें dicot cotyledons होते हैं generally. Of that we will be going to discuss when we will going to study the the diversity. Okay, so now let's you assume here that they are the dicots plants which generally present at the thin margin of leaves. Okay, and means जहाँ पर thin पतली leaves होती है वहाँ पर ये present होते हैं. That's why we can bend the leaves and the leaves do not break actually. So if we are bending the twigs and they are not bending, this is just because of the Sclerenchyma tissue. Okay, got it, or still having some doubt? Got it? Got it, Hamna, Maridula, yes, and Miraj. So let's talk about this one. Let's see the video first, and then we shall be going to discuss it further. Okay. So let's do this one. Wait a minute. So we are having this one is. Okay. So wait a minute. Share. Okay.
Plant tissues. We know that the fundamental unit of life is a single cell, but all higher organisms are made up of more than one cell, also called as multicellular organism. In multicellular organisms, similar kind of cells group in a specific tissue to perform particular functions which support the efficient functioning of organisms by providing division of labor. Examples are xylem, phloem, etc. The next level of organization forms organs combining different tissues. Examples include root, stem, leaf, etc. There are two types of plant tissue. First one is meristematic tissue, which has dividing cells. The cells are very active, have dense cytoplasm and distinct nucleus to carry out division. They have thin walls and easy to divide. They are small or no vacuoles, as do not need to store anything for long. According to their location, there are three types of meristems. Apical meristem is present at the root and the shoot apex and is responsible for the plant height. Intercalary meristem is present at the base of leaves and nodes. Lateral is present in sides of the stem and increases the girth of the stem. Another type of plant tissue is permanent tissue. How are these formed? Older meristematic tissues, which lose the ability to divide, get differentiated to permanent tissues. They are again of two types: simple which are made up of same type of cells, and complex, which are made up of different types of cells, but performing the same function.
The important thing is that in the simple permanent tissue and the uh, complex permanent tissue is that they are both performing when a similar type of cells combine together and they are forming a similar function, same functions. So they will be considered means they are performing the same functions. They will be considered as similar type of tissue, or we can say that they are the simple permanent tissue. But if we have the conditions like we have the different types of cells and like we have the different types of cells, okay, and they are performing the simple function, they are performing the simple function, same function. So they are considered to be as, means still the function is same, they have a different types of cells but they are performing the same function, so they will be considered as complex tissue, and that will be going to study later. So first study this one is that permanent tissue, in the permanent tissue they are the simpler type of cells are present, and in complex tissue they are the different types of cells are present. So let's do this one.
Now, on the basis of adaptation in cell structure and their function, simple permanent tissues are further divided in three types. Number 1, Parenchyma, again, has three subclasses. Parenchyma has oval cells with dense cytoplasm. They may or may not be loosely packed. The ones with chlorophyll are called Sclerenchyma and help in photosynthesis. Some have air spaces and are present in aquatic plants for buoyancy. They are called as Parenchyma. Parenchyma are found all over the plant body and help in storage, photosynthesis in some, and giving buoyancy in some, for example aquatic plants. Number 2. Collenchyma are polygonal cells with thickened corners. They provide flexibility to plants so that parts can bend without breaking. For instance, they are at petiole, leaf stalk, etc. Number 3 is Sclerenchyma. These are dead cells with no protoplasm. They have thick cell walls and the cell lumen is lost. The main
So let's talk about this one, is Sclerenchyma tissue. Okay, so let's talk about this one. So we were talking about this one is, okay, so we were talking about this one, and so now talking about this Sclerenchyma, now you got the point that what is the functions of Sclerenchyma tissue and what is the function of Collenchyma and Parenchyma tissue and Parenchyma tissue. The Parenchyma tissue, if they are having the chloroplast, then they are considered as Sclerenchyma. If they are having the air space between them, then it will be considered as Parenchyma. And if simple Parenchyma means simple Parenchyma without chloroplast and without air, so that is called a simple Parenchyma, and that generally store the food and resins or tannins among them. Okay, so they don't have the protoplasm. Protoplasm is present, or we can say that generally they have the good vacuoles and they are living cells, and they generally help plays a very important role in the storage because they have the large vacuoles. So let's talk about this one, that is the Sclerenchyma tissue. That is another type of tissue. So Sclerenchyma tissue jo hote hain, they are, we can simply say that the Sclerenchyma tissue are hard and strengthening tissue, means they generally provide the support, and they are generally dead cells. Here we can say that this is the Sclerenchyma, another type of tissue, okay, Sclerenchyma, and they provide the support to the plants, and they are the dead cell. These are not the Parenchyma tissues are living, but here these are the dead cells. So we can say that the composed of extremely thick, we can say that the extremely thick cell wall is present between them. Means we can simply say that here कि इनके बीच में जो होती है वो बहुत ज्यादा thick walled होती है. Actually they are the complete cell wall, मतलब cell wall ही होती है और कुछ होता ही नहीं है. They have the cell wall, इतनी ज्यादा मोटी cell wall होती है कि cell के अंदर cell wall के अलावा कुछ और होता ही नहीं है. तो कंपोज ऑफ एक्सट्रीमली थिक सेल वॉल विद अ लिटिल और नो प्रोटोप्लाज्म, या तो होगा तो बहुत छोटा सा प्रोटोप्लाज्म होगा या फिर होगा ही नहीं. सेल्स आर dead and supposed to very thick lignified walls, उनके अंदर बहुत होता है. And here we have the waterproofing material that is called lignin. So we have studied the two types of waterproofing material, that is one is the suberin, and another one is the lignin. So lignin is actually present as a waterproofing material between the we can simply say that the between the between the sclerenchyma cells. Okay, between the sclerenchyma cells, this one is present. Okay, and another one is the type of suberin, and suberin was present between the as a supporting materials or waterproofing material or waxy substance that is present between the cells of cork or phallum. Cork. Okay, so suberin and is also a water waxy substance that prevents that make the impervious या एंट्री को ब्लॉक कर देता है वाटर की या किसी भी चीज की in the cork or the woody part regions that we have. And here we have the lignin is the waterproofing material that is present in the sclerenchyma tissue, that is generally that generally behave as a cement like structure, and that's combine the cell, जो बहुत cell को combine करके रखता है. These are also dead cells, like we have the cork as dead cells, so these are also the dead cells. And moreover, one thing you need to understood here is that they both are impervious to water, and they don't have the intercellular space, intercellular space उनके absent होता है. Okay, so you need to understood this one. Let's move further. Moving further, we can simply say that here. Okay, so intercellular space is absent here. Like we say that coconut husk is made up of this type of tissue. Means the अखरोट जो होता है हमारे पास, उसका जो hard shell होता है, that is also made up of this type of tissue. Okay, so we can understood this one, that the coconut husk or the hard means the dry fruits के जो hard shells होते हैं, they are made up of this type of tissue that is called the sclerenchyma. So now you understood the function of sclerenchyma tissue.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Hamna and Miraj, got it? Miraj, are you there? Miraj. Okay, let's move further. The cell of sclerenchyma of two types, where we have the special means still we have the two types of sclerenchyma cells. One is the sclerid and the another one is the fibers. Okay, sclerid fibers. So we can simply say that those are means sclerids. These are all called the grit, or we can say the stone cells. Means these are very hard cells. Okay, sclerids. Or we can simply say that these cells are small cells, or we can say that where the lumen is so small due to the thicker thickenings. Okay, we can simply say that बहुत ज़्यादा small होते हैं. Let's first help you. Let me explain you with the video so that you can understand it more betterly. So let me have the video for this one. Okay, so wait a minute.
Which type of
So let's discuss about it.
and sclerenchyma? The parenchyma tissues are oval-shaped cells with thin cell wall.
Wait a minute. Okay.
The parenchyma tissues are oval-shaped cells with thin cell walls and have extensive spaces between the cells. They aid in photosynthesis, storage, and also help aquatic plants to float. They are composed of living cells found in roots, stems, leaves, and flowers. The collenchyma tissues are composed of living, elongated cells. They provide elasticity, mechanical support, and tensile strength to the plant body. They are found mainly in the cortex of stems and leaves. The sclerenchyma tissues are dead cells having extremely thick cell walls containing lignin. They protect the plants. This tissue is present in stems, leaves, and in the hard covering of seeds and nuts. We'll now move on to the second type of permanent tissue, the complex.
That is not in the given. Okay, so let it be. So that let's study this one. Okay, so that you can understand it more betterly here. So we have the two types of tissue. The sclerid means still the sclerenchyma tissues are of two types. Like we have the parenchyma tissue. Parenchyma tissue, they have the cell wall. Sorry, if they have the air. Then it will be considered as parenchyma tissue. If they have the chlorophyll, then they will be considered as sclerenchyma tissue. Okay, and now in the similar way, we have the sclerenchyma tissue divided into two parts. One is the fiber and another is sclerids. So sclerids means they are also called grit. We also call them grit cells or stone cells because they are very very hard. So we call them stone cells. Okay, these are very small in size. बहुत ज़्यादा बड़े नहीं होते हैं size में, like you have seen in the picture. So these are the stone cells and they are not very small. They are very small size where the lumen is so small and due to high thickening. Means lumen जो होता है बहुत small होता है जो कि बहुत ज़्यादा thickening होने की वजह से. We can simply say that because of the high thickening, the lumen is very small. So, and generally we can say that the mango, coconut, walnuts जो होते हैं वो इस तरह के उससे बने होते हैं. तो the present in the drop fruits like mango, coconut husk is made up of this one, walnut, अखरोट जो होता है उसकी हक, तो उस तरह के उसमें ये बने होते हैं. Okay, now we are talking about the fibers. You know that the fibers are we can say that they are very long, narrow, thick lignin white cells. Like you have seen that the husk of the coconut, if the fibers are coming from that, उससे जो hairs निकल के आते हैं, they are the fibers and they are also made up of dead cells. So they are the long, narrow, thick lignified cells. Lumen is large as comparison to the sclerid and generally 1.1 से 1.3 mm long, लंबे होते हैं अच्छे खासे. And we can simply say that like this we have the fiber cells. This is the examples you can see here in the picture. Okay, so these are the fiber cells. These are the long, like you have this one. Okay, so these cells, we can simply say that a thick wall and both walls of the both fibers and sclerids are present in the area of areas called pits. Okay, जहाँ पे गड्ढे होते हैं ना वहाँ पर ये present होते हैं. Means generally they are present in the areas where there are sclerids are present thin and areas are called pits. Okay, now let's move to the sclerenchyma fibers. Okay, and this is a simple, like we have seen in the picture that here in the picture we have seen that these are used in the manufacturing of ropes. Means that we are just going to study the functions here. So these are used in the manufacturing of ropes, mats and curtains, textiles, certain textiles fibers को बनाने में use किए जाते हैं. Jute and coils, jute जो होती है and coils are obtained from the means you can simply say that these are the coconut, these are made up of hard cells, but इसके ऊपर जो एक covering होती है उससे हम लोग coir बनाते हैं, coir. Okay, and jute, we can simply say that jute and coils are obtained from the thick bundles of these fibers. Okay, I got it. What is the sclerenchyma tissue? Got it. Sclerenchyma जहाँ पर fibers के dead cells होते हैं, like we have the हमारे पास अलग-अलग तरह से होते हैं. So fibers generally का उसका functions हम लोग को rope वगैरह बनाने में use किया जाता है. Okay, now moving to the next here is that the difference between the parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma is this one. This you can say that the parenchyma tissue, the collenchyma tissue and the sclerenchyma tissue. Okay, these are the sclerenchyma are the dead cells. Collenchyma are going to have they are not means they are not they have some space between them also, and they have the chlorophyll, irregular thickening primary cell walls. And here we can say that the thin cell wall is present in parenchyma. Generally they have the large food vacuoles. You see white color substance. These are the food vacuoles, large food vacuoles, and the main function of them is to store food and resins. Okay, Got it? Got it, beta? Got it, all of you? Miraj, Amna? Miraj, are you there in the class? Miraj? No. So here we have the differences between them is the features has been written here: parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. Okay, then according to their, we have the shape of the cell of parenchyma tissue, and here we have the shape of the collenchyma, and another one we are going to have is that of sclerenchyma. So they are the different types of cell shapes. Isodiametric cells which are oval, spherical और polygonal shape होती है. इन सब की तरफ से आइसोडायमेट्रिक में तो ज्यादा सबसे एक सही डायमीटर लगभग मिल जाएगा. आइसोडायमेट्रिक सेल्स होते हैं which are oval in shape, spherical हो सकते हैं या polygonal हो सकते हैं शेप में. यहाँ पर हम लोग बोलेंगे these are the circular, oval और polyhedral शेप में होते हैं. कौन से? कोलेनकाइमा एंड we can say the sclerenchyma shapes जो होती है वो अलग अलग होती है. फाइबर्स में अलग और स्क्लेरिड में अलग अलग तरह की शेप होती है. फाइबर्स में they are the rod shapes and sclerid में they are the polygonal shapes. You can say that होते हैं. Okay, now the cell wall जो होती है, इनकी जो cell wall होती है वो thin होती है. Thin cell wall is present in the parenchyma tissue. They don't have this thick cell wall. They have the thin cell wall. And we can say that in the collenchyma there is an uneven thickening is present. There is no, we cannot say कि वो thick होते हैं या thin होते हैं. Uneven thickening on the cell wall is present, and we can see that here in the sclerenchyma we can say that they are lignified because they lignin एक specialized chemical है जो कि that is present between the cell wall के बीच में present होता है. तो we can say lignified secondary cell wall is present here, and that is very thick, बहुत मोटी होती है इसमें. ओके, साइटोप्लाज्म इसमें अबुडेंट होता है, इसमें प्रेजेंट होता है, इसमें एब्सेंट होता है. ओके ओके, and we can say the nucleus is present because these are the living tissue. Here these are also the living tissue, so there is the nucleus present, but here they are the dead tissue, so there is no nucleus is present. Vacuoles, they have the large vacuoles because they provide the main function of parenchyma tissue is just to absorb the food, or sorry, just to store the food. So vacuoles are present here, and they are also vacuolated, means they are also vacuoles is present, but there is no, because these are the dead cells, so they don't have the vacuoles. We can say that here the intercellular space is present here in the parenchyma tissue. Here in the collenchyma tissue the intercellular space is absent, and we can say that sorry in the there the वो तो इतने ज्यादा चिपके रहते हैं कि डेंस इतने ज्यादा होते हैं, इसमें तो कोई हो ही नहीं सकता स्पेस. इसमें भी एक बार को हो सकता है छोटा बहुत, लेकिन इसमें तो बिल्कुल नहीं होगा. And we can say that occurrence कहाँ पे present होते हैं, तो generally basically packing tissue जहाँ पर होते हैं, all soft part होते हैं, और cortex, medullary rays, ये that's are the functions. इनके functions है storage of photosynthesis का काम करते हैं, provide करते हैं strength, mechanical support to the plants, photosynthesis भी करा देते हैं, and generally we can say that the productions में mainly mechanical strength provide करते हैं because there are dead tissues, तो ये mechanical support provide करते हैं. कोलेनकाइमा तो पता ही है तुम्हें, flexibility provide करता है जिसकी वजह से कोलेनकाइमा मतलब flexibility, क्लोरेनकाइमा मतलब फोटोसिंथेसिस, एरेनकाइमा मतलब एरन मतलब ब्यूनेंसी प्रोवाइड करना, ठीक है, और पेरेनकाइमा सिंपल पेरेनकाइमा स्टोरेज ऑफ फूड, और स्क्लेरेनकाइमा मतलब प्रोटेक्शन, स्ट्रेंथ, मैकेनिकल सपोर्ट प्रोवाइड करता है. बस ये हमारे पास था that we have studied about the type of simple permanent tissue. So do you understood the difference between the parenchyma tissue, sclerenchyma tissue and the collenchyma tissue, erenchyma? सबका समझ में आया डिफरेंस? You got it, or still having some doubt?
No doubt.
Viraj, still having doubt or not? Viraj is not in the class, no? He is in the class, but he is not responding. Okay. I asked him, but I don't know what is its mail ID. Okay. So that's all for today. Okay, we'll meet you in the next class, dear students. Okay.
Okay,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Hey, Miraj, are you there in the class? I was just asking you again and again, where are you?
Sir, I was there in the class.
Do you want these notes? These notes are important. So if you want these notes, I should have your mail ID, and I was just checking your mail here. Okay, let me check that one. Okay, wait a minute. So when I was checking the mail, here.
Permanent tissues.
So here, I was typing your name here. What was the spelling? Let me tell me.
JAHMAD